こんにちは、Muditāのゆげめいです。Muditāのゲストインタビュー企画、芸術が人をつなげるというテーマで行っております。今回のゲストはカナダ出身のビクトリアさんです。在籍中はシアターや即興演劇のプロダクションで活躍をされました。今回は2つのビデオにわたってインタビューをお届けいたします。彼女が語る即興演劇が今ある自分を作ってくれたというストーリーにご注目ください。
So here we have the guest today, Victoria Tam, very, very good friend of mine who went to Rollins College. This is very nice to see you. We were just, in fact, just chatting, for the first time in many days.
Months,
years. Yeah. All right. Would you mind to introduce yourself briefly and kind of give us your background?
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Victoria Tam. I attended Rollins College and I graduated with a BA in Communication Studies with a focus in PR. But during my time at Rollins, I studied theater, physics, a whole range of other subjects.
Thank you. So, this is a very rare case in Japan where the student majoring, like communication or something else,
right?
But still get to involve with the theater production on campus. But this is not really that rare case in the US. How and why did you decide to start learning or like involving this with the theater activities or productions?
Well, I had a passion for theater, but I decided not to make it my main area of study. But because I attended Rollins College, which is liberal arts college, I was allowed to heavily involve myself with theater. So I would join the improv troupe. Improv stands for improvisation, where instead of doing a scripted play like a Shakespeare play where you memorize, you just go on to the stage and you say whatever first comes out of your mouth, and then you build off of what other people are saying. And I know it sounds scary, but for me it's very fun. I find like the arts and theater very, very fun, which is why I have a drawn liking to it.
Do you have like just any specific moment that you felt like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad that I chose to involve with theater production, the Rollins, like any specific memorable moment, like when you're performing, yeah.
Okay. So the improv troupe that I was in, we do a lot of work with freshmen. So, freshmen, they're new to the college, they're new to campus. We would put on a performance for every single freshman that attended Rollins College. And around like 2 weeks after this time, they would recognize me on campus and say, oh, you performed in this show, right? You're very good. Like, it's nice to meet you. And my director, he told us that we are a familiar face for all the freshmen on campus because every single freshman had to watch one of our shows. So it made my heart feel very like warm, and I felt very happy on the inside when people could feel like they could come up to me and talk to me and make themselves feel more comfortable on campus because I happened to be like one of the faces that they recognize. So with that, it's definitely the interpersonal relationships and connections, just like, inside the troupe and outside the troupe with your audience members, is definitely one of the highlights for me and a moment that I won't forget.
So in the process of this, whatever the production that you're involving at the time, what is that journey like? Like from the preparation to the performance day?
Okay. So even when you do improv, you still need to train. You still need to develop the fundamental skills to know and become very solid in, because when you do that, all your future improv will be like infinitely better. And it's hard to describe the process that improvisers have to go through to gain that skill. But I think the hardest, most difficult thing is not letting a bad scene that you happen to be in affect you for like the rest of your performances, because if a scene doesn't land well, if you say something that's like you immediately regret it and it comes out of your mouth, or you do something that it's bad but it just happens, and it does. Every single improviser, every single actor has definitely experienced this moment. It's so hard to shake off that bad feeling, to like forget about the past, you know? And I think with that, you need to build a really good mentality. You need to become like thick-skinned, because a lot of humor and improv, you know, you want to make the people laugh. You want the audience to enjoy your performance, just with like any other performance that's going on. But because you know it's directly like your creativity and your own words, it's very vulnerable. You're very vulnerable when you stand on stage, because everything that you say, it comes from the heart. Because it's not scripted. It's exactly what you mean to say. So when you say something bad or do something bad, you just feel so guilty.
No, so you talked about some preparation for the improv show. What is that like? Like, do you rehearse? Like, because it's improvisation, obviously, for the performance. So if you know like what you're gonna say to others, that wouldn't be an improv. So what is the preparation like?
So a well-trained instructor is very necessary for the process of like training in improv, because when you're on stage, you can choose literally from an infinite amount of possibilities. I could say hi, or I could say the cloud is raining men. I don't know. You could literally say anything, but there are certain paths and certain things that are better for a scene. And so you'll have an instructor nearby who would pause the scene if something happens and be like, let's compare this choice and this choice, which one leads to a better scene, more like possibilities. And then that way you receive guidance, so you get into the pattern of making better choices. And when I say better choices, it's not like saying that all choices are bad. In improv, technically any choice is a good choice, as long as what you do afterward can back it up. But it's just training to be able to generate more scenes, to, you know, to make it easier on your scene partners and make it easier on everyone to help you and support you. It's very like interconnected. Everything you do will affect your troupe members and vice versa. So it's just making the whole process easier for everyone and more enjoyable too.
I see. Wow, that's amazing. And it's also, it's quite deep though, like that, you know, preparation. It's, you know, you said it's about the choice, right? And there's no right or wrong choice. You know, that's like the improper preparation for the improv show itself is almost like a life lesson.
Yes, exactly.
You know, you obviously work with some other colleagues, students, teachers. What is it like to produce one show with the colleagues?
For me, I think of a very strong bond and friendship that my troupe personally had, because in improv, it's all about trust. It's different performing with your good friends or a stranger, because you don't know what that stranger is going to do. You don't know how they are. Who knows? They could be very selfish on stage, but when you're friends with people on stage, you know, you tend to perform with keeping them in mind. And this makes a very big difference in the actions and what you do, because, you know, when you stand on stage, some people just want the spotlight on them. But in improv, it's really about sharing that spotlight with everyone and making everyone on the troupe look good. And I think, so for me, even though the actual performances were phenomenal and really fun, and I built a lot of great memories, the thing that I took the most out of my troupe was the friendships that I had built with my professors, the director, and my colleagues.
What is it like to interact with some of the audience members, like after the show, after you perform?
I think for me, because I had to audition to get in the troupe, and I didn't actually make it in the first time, but you look at the troupe members with like admiration and awe, because, you know, they're performers. They put on a show that you really enjoyed. Some of them are very talented and you want to get to know them better. And some people handle being starstruck very differently. You know, you'll have the people who are very normal. They'll talk to you like a friend. You'll have the people who are very excited to greet you, and those people are always very kind and very sweet. But I think my favorite is when people approach you as a friend, because, you know, we're all human. We're all the same. You just happen to watch me perform an improv show. And I think it's very enjoyable to interact with the audience, definitely, because Ria, I remember watching you perform. I would come up to you and I'd be like, oh my gosh, that was phenomenal. That was amazing. But in the end, you truly are like my friend. I don't see you as like, wow, like Ria, the amazing performer, which you are, but I see you as Ria, my friend. I see you as a friend, and I see the audience members who come to watch me perform. I see everyone as my friend because they're supporting me. They're supporting me by watching the show.
Yeah.